The Book of Expanded Deism, Chapters 23 and 24. This is part 12 of a 14-part series. The Book of Expanded Deism can be bought on Amazon.com. The Book of Expanded Deism was written by me, Jayson X, to help people be as sane, good, and happy as possible now and always. To contact me, write to Jayson@Deism. My blog site is jaysonx.com. Chapter 23. Politics Continued. Question 203. What is a direct democracy? Answer 203. A direct democracy is a form of government in which the citizens of a political unit do not elect other citizens to represent them. Instead, they democratically make all governmental decisions themselves. Direct democracies probably only work well with small political units because the larger the political unit, the more time and effort it takes to educate and assemble its citizens to make good governmental decisions through a democratic process. Question 204. What is a Congress? Answer 204. A Congress is a democratically elected group of citizens which makes governmental decisions for a political unit. Such governmental decisions include making laws, policies, and proclamations, and selecting humans to do certain government jobs. A Congress can be composed of either one or two legislatures. Question 205. What is a legislature? Answer 205. If a Congress is composed of just one legislature, then the legislature is just the same thing as the Congress. But if a Congress is composed of two legislatures, then a legislature is part of a Congress. Question 206. Why should states and nations have two legislatures? Answer 206. States and nations have unequal districts in terms of population. Some districts have more citizens, and some districts have less. The two legislatures solve the problem of how to give all the districts equal governmental power while allowing districts with more citizens to have more power. In other words, it is usually more just and reasonable for a large representative democracy to have two legislatures rather than one. Question 207. What is the difference between the two legislatures? Answer 207. One legislature gives all similar political units the same amount of representatives and thus votes. The other legislature has different amounts of representatives based on the population of political units. The bigger the population, the more representatives and thus votes. The decision of one legislature does not become the law of the political unit unless the other legislature also agrees to it. Question 208. Why should counties, cities, towns, and villages have only one legislature? Answer 208. These political units are too small in size and population for two legislatures. Question 209. What is the main leader of various political units? Answer 209. The main leader of a nation is the president. The main leader of a state is the governor. The main leader of a county, city, town, or village is the mayor. The purpose of the main leader is twofold. One, to represent the political unit to its citizens and others as the chief ambassador of the political unit. And two, to temporarily act on behalf of the political unit's Congress in a crisis. For example, if one nation makes a surprise attack on another nation, the president of the attacked nation should organize the defense of her or his nation until the National Congress can take over the defense effort. Question 210. Who should elect the main leader? Answer 210. The main leader should be elected by his or her Congress. The National Congress should elect the President of the nation. The State Congress should elect the Governor of the state. The County Congress should elect the Mayor of the county. The City Congress should elect the Mayor of the city. The Town Congress should elect the Mayor of the town. And the Village Congress should elect the Mayor of the village. Question 211. Why should the main leader be elected by the Congress rather than by a popular vote involving all the adult citizens of a large political unit? Answer 211. There are 3 reasons. 1. There are far fewer voters in the Congress than in the political unit. Thus, the votes of those in the Congress can be easily accounted for, whereas the votes of all the adult citizens in the political unit cannot. In short, it is much more difficult to cheat when just the representatives in the Congress are voting. 2. Having the Congress elect the main leader promotes the idea that the main leader should do the will of the Congress. The Congress hired the main leader, and the Congress can fire the main leader for any reason at any time. 3. The President and Governor were chosen by representatives of the whole political unit and not just the majority of the voters in the most populous parts of the political unit, as often happens when an entire large political unit elects a main leader. Thus, the President or Governor better represents the whole nation or state because she or he was elected by the 2 legislatures. Question 212. What does it mean for the main leader to be directly accountable to his or her Congress? Answer 212. It means that the Congress can hire or fire a main leader for any reason and at any time simply by passing a resolution. Question 213. Why is it desirable for the Congress to have such power over the main leader? Answer 213. History has proven repeatedly that main leaders can easily get too much governmental power and with that power do much evil. There is much truth to this saying. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. All citizens of a political unit should strongly oppose any main leader who works against the will of her or his Congress. They might even have to depose, arrest, or kill such a main leader. Of course, the least violent solution that is effective is better than a more violent solution. Question 214. Can congresspersons and main leaders run for re-election? Answer 214. Congresspersons can, but main leaders cannot. Main leaders can serve as main leaders for only one 5-year term so that they do not become dictators. For example, someone who served as a governor can become a president or a mayor, but he or she cannot become a governor again, even of another state. Question 215. How might various political units be organized? Answer 215. Every group of humans who has the same customs and language, and or who are governed by the same government, can be considered a nation. If a nation has more than 100,000 humans, it can be organized into states. States should approximately be organized into many counties of approximately equal geographic size. If a settlement in a county has more than 500 humans, it can be a self-governing village, town, or city, meaning that it is governed by the village, town, or city Congress, not the county Congress. Furthermore, the citizens of the village, town, or city should not participate in the election of the county Congress because the purpose of the county Congress is to govern the areas of a county that are not villages, towns, or cities. Likewise, the citizens of the county who do not live in the village, town, or city should not participate in the election of the village, town, or city Congress. Chapter 24, Economics. Question 216. What is capitalism? Answer 216. Capitalism is an economic system in which the means of production are privately owned and operated for profit. and in which the distribution, production, and pricing of commodities are determined in a free market. Question 217. What are an economic system and a commodity? Answer 217. An economic system is how commodities are produced, distributed, and consumed. A commodity is anything that can be bought, sold, rented, or traded. Question 218. What does the means of production are privately owned and operated for profit mean? Answer 218. It means that individual citizens, not governments, own things like land and factories which make certain commodities. These commodities are made to get money for the ones who own the land and factories. Question 219. What is a free market? Answer 219. A free market means that humans can make, sell, and buy whatever they want for whatever price they agree upon, and the government does not interfere with this process, at least to a large extent. Governments of capitalistic political units often regulate commodities and markets to maximize the happiness of the greatest number of their citizens. Question 220. Why is capitalism good? Answer 220. Capitalism is good for at least 4 reasons. 1. Those who work hard and have greater abilities should make more money than those who do not. 2. Humans should generally be allowed to do what they want with their property. 3. Capitalism often encourages innovation, high-quality products, and low prices. And 4. Capitalism often generates much wealth for individuals, corporations, and political units. Question 221. Why is capitalism evil if it is not limited? Answer 221. There are at least 5 reasons. 1. Some citizens get absurdly rich just because they inherit wealth or greatly deprive their workers. 2. Citizens can be forced to work far beyond 40 hours a week for low wages, making them economic slaves. 3. In many cases, citizens die from not having enough money. 4. Very rich citizens have too much influence over the government. And 5. There is not equal access to education because poor citizens cannot afford the best schools. Question 222. What is limited capitalism? Answer 222. Limited capitalism is capitalism with limits. The economic system is capitalistic, yet citizens are not allowed to become so poor that they die, and citizens are not allowed to become so rich that they hoard too many natural resources or have too much political influence. Question 223. When do citizens become so poor that they die? Answer 223. All humans need adequate air, water, food, and shelter to survive. In many cases, they also need adequate medical care. Citizens become so poor that they die when they do not have the things. Citizens become so poor that they die when they do not have the money necessary to buy these things. Question 224. When do citizens become so rich that they hoard too many natural resources? Answer 224. All humans need natural resources to live. For example, air, water, land, food, fuel, and construction materials. If one citizen acquires so many resources that another citizen cannot live, the more fortunate citizen has become so rich that she or he is hoarding too many natural resources. Question 225. When do citizens become so rich that they have too much political influence? Answer 225. If one or more citizens have a much greater amount of money than almost every other citizen, they have become so rich that they have too much political influence. The reason is that they can use their great wealth to greatly manipulate their government in an undemocratic way. Question 226. Why is limited capitalism the best economic system for most political units? Answer 226. Limited capitalism keeps what is good about capitalism while getting rid of what is evil. Citizens can be poor but not too poor. Citizens can be rich but not too rich. And all citizens have roughly equal opportunity to become or stay rich. Question 227. How might limited capitalism work in a political unit? Answer 227. The political unit would be capitalistic, but citizens would only be allowed to earn a certain amount of money each year, perhaps the equivalent of 10 million US dollars in the year 2000. Any money they would make beyond that would go to the political unit. The government would not allow workers to work for more than 40 hours a week unless there was an emergency, and even those extra emergency hours would be limited. The government would ensure that all workers were paid at least enough money so that they could live and be happy, perhaps the equivalent of 10 US dollars each hour in the year 2000. The government would also guarantee all citizens adequate air, water, food, shelter, and medical care to live, even if they chose not to work. However, those who were able to work but were unemployed would be given bland, repetitive, healthy meals and uncomfortable Spartan shelters to encourage them to work. The meals could be red beans and rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, plus a vitamin once a day. And the shelters could be small, ugly, sparsely furnished rooms, one room for each person. Lastly, the government would pay the tuition of any student who qualified for an accredited college or university, was studying for a job the political unit obviously needed, such as doctor, lawyer, teacher, or police officer, and passed all of his or her classes. Thank you for watching and or reading this video. Please tell as many people as you are willing about it.